Hello, everybody. All right, so we're going to continue with lesson 8.2. For our first part today, for our lesson today, you're still going to need inch tiles, but you're also going to need a strip of paper. It can be color paper, regular paper, just a little strip like this, okay? At least, um, if someone's cutting it for you, at least 6 inches. You went ahead and used a piece of Xerox paper and cut the strip lengthwise. Okay. All right. You'll also need something to color with. It doesn't really matter which colors. I'm going to use these three right here. Okay. All right. So let's look at page 405. So use color tiles to make 4 inches. Okay. And then I want you to trace along the edge to show the length. So let's put 4 tiles, right? Because each tile is an inch. So we're going to put 4 together. And we're going to trace along the edge of the tiles. So that's 4 inches. All right, 2 inches. Okay, that's just 2 tiles. Again, trace along the edge. I'm going to go ahead and line it up with the other one just to get a general idea of the lengths. Okay. So that's 2 inches. And then let's finish with 3 inches, which would be 3 tiles. And trace the edges. So 4 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches. Let's look at page 406. All right, so this is where we're going to make a paper ruler, okay? Because we know that each tile is about an inch long, right? So on your strip, we're going to color 6 parts that are about 1 inch long each, okay? All right, so start on somewhere close to the edge, okay? Use one of your colors, preferably a darker color, and just make a line along the left-hand edge, okay, of our first one, and on the right-hand edge. Okay, we don't need to trace the whole thing. Okay, so that's about our inch, and then we can color a little like rectangle on the inside. Okay. All right, so that's 1 inch. And then let's put our tile back down, get our darker color again, and let's trace just the right-hand side this time, because we've already got the left-hand side. And I'm going to go ahead and use a different color for this one. I'm going to try to line it up with the other rectangle I already drew. Okay, so that's 2 inches. Let's add a third one. Again, just trace the right-hand side. Okay, so I just traced this right-hand side, pick it up, and I'm going to alternate. I'm going to go back to green. Okay, so that's 3 parts. Add a fourth one. Trace the right hand edge. Go ahead and color it red. Okay, so now we have 4 parts. Let's add a 5th part. Two, four, five, and let's finish with our last one. All right, so on our ruler, we basically have 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 tiles helps us get 6 inches on our paper strips. Okay, now how to use your ruler. Line up the left edge of an object with the first mark. This is like our 0 mark. Okay, so line it up here. And so it's about so it ends here. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. Okay. If you have trouble seeing it, we can always fold it a little. So the lines line up easier with our shape. Okay. So you can fold over the edges if you can go right to the top, because I didn't go right to the top. And so we're about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 inches. Okay. Now let's try the next one. Line up the edge with the first mark and count. 1, 2, 3. So about 3 inches. The chain, line up with the edge of your first mark and then count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It hasn't quite reached 5 on my ruler, so we're going to still go forward about 5 inches. Okay. 407, page 407. Continue to use your paper ruler and measure the length of each object. So 1, 2, 3, about 3 inches. Okay, how long is the thermometer? Go ahead and measure your thermometer. Line up the tip of the thermometer with your first mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 inches. Okay, how about the paintbrush? Line up with the edge of the first mark and then count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 inches. How about the marker? Okay, it's longer than the thermometer, shorter than the ruler, shorter than the paintbrush. I'm going to say it's probably going to be about 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost 5 inches. Okay, how about the toothpicks? All right, how about the toothpick? So line up the edge, and it's only about 2 inches long. Okay. All right, and now let's look at page 408. All right, so number 9 is not something that I can do with you. virtually, but choose a classmate in your class, find a bulletin board, and use both of your rulers to see how long the bulletin board is. Okay. Or a window. Okay. And then tell me what you find out what the length is. Okay. So I'm going to skip number 9 myself. Number 10. Describe what you did in exercise 9. How did you measure a length that is longer than your rulers? Okay. This is what you should have done. Okay. So you could continue to count as you moved your rulers. Okay. So like you put yours at the end of your partners, you put them together, and then if you're the second one, your partner would remove theirs and then put it at the end of yours, and you'll just keep adding until you get to the end. Okay. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm going to say that this represents one student's ruler, and then this green and blue is the second student's ruler. Okay. So you put them together, right? And so whatever you were measuring here was 4 inches long. But let's say we're measuring to the end of this paper. Okay. So let's measure from side to side. Okay. So we're out of rulers here, right? So we would pick up the other person's ruler and move it to the end of our partners. Okay. So we still have 1, 2. Now we're at 3. Okay. We still haven't got to the end. So we're going to pick up our partners and move it to the end. Okay. So we moved 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 sets of 2 is about 8. Okay. So again, we started here. So at this point it was 4. We picked it up. Okay, by adding 2 more, we were at 6. And we picked it up, the other person's ruler, and we ended at 8. I'm probably getting it to focus. Okay, 8. All right, so on number 11, measure the length of the yarn with your ruler. Does the sentence describe the yarn? Choose yes or no. All right, so I get that the yarn is about 1, 2, 3. About 3 inches. The yarn is 2 inches long. No. The yarn is 3 inches long. That's reasonable. The yarn is less than 3 inches. No. The yarn is longer than 2 inches. Yes. Okay. And again, ours is a little less. So you could get confused with this one about the yarn is less than 3 inches. But let's see what happens when we put the actual tiles on there. Okay. So when we use exact tiles, we get exactly 3 inches. Okay. So our rulers might be a little off based on our lines. Okay. So this line should be right here. All right. All right. So that's it for lesson 8.2, making and using an inch ruler. So until our next lesson, I will see you soon.